when Oliver's on top of him, like, are you going to be a good boy? And like gives him a handy or whatever. I don't know what he was doing. What's the point of that?
I think.
What makes him think in doing that Farley is
okay?
I think
you're
you
gonna
should-
sit there and tell me you've never got on top of another guy, spit in your hand, and then start stroking him to establish dominance. Welcome to A Cast with No Name. We're your hosts. I'm Jay.
I'm Matt.
I'm Coop.
This is episode 89. This episode, we slurp bath water as we review and discuss Emerald Fennell's 2023 dark comedy thriller, Saltburn.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
first,
I think that hit all the.
yeah, all the things. Satire's in there, apparently. But first, don't forget to visit our website at castwithnoname.com, where you can listen to our entire episode library, comment on episodes, write to our email. And as always, you can find us on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. And thank you for listening. And if you enjoy the show, leave us a like. Or follow us, or whatever they do on those individual thingies.
Yep.
Saltburn. Well, this was
hilarious.
a bad idea.
That's exactly what I thought.
Who wants to? Coop, you go first.
Okay.
What'd you think?
It was fine for about the first 20 minutes before it started getting real weird, and I actually text Matt like, "This is getting weird."
I said,
And
dude, so weird.
Yeah. I liked it at first. It just got so the sexual overtones were just so crass,
Over the top.
Yeah, over the top.
Yeah.
I was just like they lost me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the storyline of somebody kind of coming from like an impoverished background and kind of getting introduced to this luxury lifestyle, something, total fish out of water type scenario. That aspect of it was kind of interesting to see. I mean, we've seen it before in different films. This was a little bit different. But it just got weird fast, and I just was not there for it.
Yeah.
So you were lost about 20 minutes in?
Yeah, sounds about right.
How about you?
At 139-minute runtime, that's pretty fast. Yeah, pretty in and out. Yeah.
I got bored within the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've seen this movie 1,000 times. And then when it tried to turn the corner and like, oh, this isn't your typical movie with all the fucking weird sexual shit, and then like the twist at the end, I'm like, all right.
The sexual stuff added nothing.
It added nothing. And then the ending didn't make sense. The twist
was just
did not
grotesque.
make sense based on what happened the whole movie. I'm like, okay, so it's just weird for being weird.
Yeah.
And I hate that. It's annoying.
It's like they got 3/4 of the way through writing this movie, and then they're like, how can we make it more interesting?
Yeah.
Let's put a twist in there at the end.
Yeah.
The final act will have a nice twist at the end, and so that's what they.
And I don't know if they did that because you have seen this story 1,000 times in 1,000 different movies. So that would be a way to make it stand out, but it just didn't hit. The twist was stupid.
It's Mr. Ripley.
I was so
The
fucking
talented Mr. Ripley.
pissed. I'm like, really? That's the twist? Okay.
It's reverse Cruel Intentions, where instead of the rich people are manipulating the plebe, the plebe has taken that from them and is doing it to them.
Yeah, I immediately thought of Mr. Ripley.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's...
but not as well,
here,
but not
people.
well done.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I thought it sucked.
Yeah.
What about you, Jay?
I loved it, actually.
Did you really?
No, I did not.
Got me.
So you guys said about 20 minutes. I was lost in the first minute. And it was...
The credits?
Close to it. It was like the voiceover.
Yeah.
He's like, I loved him. But was I in love with him? And I was like, checked out. And I was like, nope, that's shitty writing. That just sucks. And I wasn't. There was a couple funny things in there that, like, couple of lines that like Rosamund Pike had, that I kind of chuckled at. Is like, spoilers by the way. Pamela died. Yeah, she'd do anything for attention.
Yeah.
Like, that was the only thing. I was like, that's funny.
She played like a really good, just
Snob.
she's so wealthy, she's eccentric, like she just has no can't touch the real world to save her life.
Right.
You know, she's
in a bubble.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the same as you. It was just it felt like it was being crass for the sake of being crass.
Yeah.
I put in here American Horror Story seasons 4 through 6.
Yeah.
When it just fell off the deep end and it was just weird shit in there just for the sake of being weird.
Yeah.
And didn't necessarily add to anything. But also at the same time, I feel like a lot of the sexual stuff is like, oh my gosh, like if you've never had sex before,
Right.
like oh, I'm on my period. Oh, and he's still going. Well, that happens when you have sexual relations with people at times, and then
You don't look the blood.
You look at it off
obviously
the
you're not looking
fingers.
for but it's like oh my god, and
Looking for you, I'm a vampire.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, why? Ugh.
which
That was
Like,
one,
as
like
he
was-
said that, I'm like, I swear to God, if he starts licking her blood,
I
and they
saw
did.
that and I paused it and like squinted. I'm like, is this really what the fuck is happening right now? Play. I made it all the way through the movie.
but you get it. It's a metaphor because
He's a vampire.
He's sucking the life out of that family,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
it all makes sense now.
yeah,
A little
it's
foreshadowing.
It's clever.
Yeah.
It's clever.
It's very clever.
Clever enough for us to do a podcast.
I thought of Wild Things when I saw this.
Okay.
Like how spoilers for Wild Things. 2 reasons: Kevin Bacon's penis, which doesn't show up in this movie, but it does show up in Wild Things. Got to
It
bring it
does.
back to Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wet Hot American Summer.
Can't. Got to. Every podcast.
But no, when was it Nev Campbell's character ends up like, oh, here's a twist. Yeah, I always knew she could do something if she put her mind to it, and she's like sailing a boat.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, because that's difficult. But I mean, it's just that stupid twist at the end to where it's like, okay, that doesn't.
Yeah.
Not. I don't understand. Overall, I felt like this movie was doing way too many things. I think it could have been a really good comedy, like dark comedy, or it could have been a really good satire if it wanted to go in that direction. Like erotic psychological thriller with comedic elements, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just
Pick a lane.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen Parasite yet. I'm sure whatever Parasite did better.
It did.
But I watched it. I was like, oh, I thought it was going to be one of those eat the rich movies. Mm-hmm. Instead, it was like that's one thing that surprised me. It turned into, oh, you people with money, make sure you keep those middle class people away from you because they're going to murder your whole family and take everything that you have.
Right.
But
The poors.
The poor.
yeah, the poors.
They'll just get you.
But he wasn't poor. He was middle class.
Right.
Yeah.
He's a sociopath.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
just wanted everything.
No.
Yeah.
But
I don't even think he had a reason for doing it. Just that he could do it. He was just bored. I think he was just so smart. He was bored.
He just wanted the money. Yeah. He
wanted
just wanted
to do
it.
something
Yeah.
interesting to him.
yeah,
I don't think eventually or initially he set out to like take over the whole thing. I think that he manipulated certain situations so that he could get closer to Felix. And then at the kind of as things started to spiral out, he was just like, fuck it, I'm going for the gold. I'm going to try to take everything while I'm here.
yeah.
It didn't warrant the twist.
No.
He was like, it makes you think that, oh, he planned this from the beginning, every step of the way. He wasn't really in love with Felix or any of that stuff. That he was just doing an act.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have scenes where he slurps up his fucking bathwater
Right.
after he jizzes
Right.
in it. And it's like, why? Well, obviously you have some sort of weird
Some
fetish,
obsession.
some obsession towards him. And then and to top it all off, when he dies and he's like humping.
Yeah, he fucks
fucking-
the
He
dirt.
is
Fucks the
fully
dirt.
penetrating the grave.
Right.
Yeah. Which, I mean, let's be honest. Raise your hand if you haven't done that.
When that scene came, I was like, stop.
Yeah, when I saw him starting to undress, I was like, no.
Stop this.
No.
This is stupid.
Cut away.
But anyway, him doing all that stuff, obviously he was obsessed with this guy and probably was in love with him. But then the twist is like, oh, no, he wasn't. He was just emotionless throughout this whole thing, and it was a setup, and he was the guy on the chessboard making all the moves, knew how everything was going to play out.
Yeah.
It did make sense.
No.
I was getting the feeling most of the time, too. I was like, oh, he's in love with him. Thinking about it, I don't know. I think the bathtub scene was more of he just wants whatever that family has. Like, it's just like another way of him just like, oh, whatever they have, I'm going to make a part of me. And
it's so weird.
I know it's weird.
Yeah.
It's not a good.
It's so...
He didn't want to be friends. He wanted to, like, wear that guy's skin. Like, he wanted to be him.
Yeah. I mean, that I could kind of...
Like, anything...
see, too.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, I mean...
Who thinks that shit?
It's... I mean, but over...
He wants to be him. You know, like, we could have a scene where he fucking jizzes in the tub and then he goes and slurps up the bath water.
With the best sound effect ever.
Yeah, that is...
Like, the water was bad enough, but then he also starts licking the drain. I was like, God, are you fucking kidding me right now? Enough's enough.
It was pretty gross. That was more gross than the him.
Oh, anything else?
Like with the period blood and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I think that was the worst scene of the whole.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
I think I did wrote a review on Letterboxd, and my review was, like Pamela, this movie would do anything for attention, and that's what I felt like. Yeah, this movie, like it was just throwing random shit in there. The scene with him humping the grave, I guess, was a impromptu thing from Barry Keoghan. Is that his name? Keoghan, whatever. Weird Irish.
It was
people.
Improvised.
Yeah, it was improvised. It wasn't written that way. It was written to where he would use his fingers suggestively, but then he requested a closed set, and he's like, "Well, I just wanted to see where the character would take me and everything else, and all that shit." I'm like, see, and this is a reason why a director needs to have control over his or her set, and there is a certain point where collaboration is great and is needed for movies to come together.
Sure.
And then there's other points where, that's just out there. I'm going to put that in the movie where it has no place
Somebody
whatsoever.
Needs to dial it back a little bit.
Yeah. Dial it the fuck back. Figure out what you're trying to accomplish and make that your mission throughout the whole process. And kind of corral your vision into that, to where it just felt like a hodgepodge of a bunch of random shit, and it was
And there are a lot of things that didn't make sense. Like for Farley, when he makes when he's like on top of, when Oliver's on top of him, like, are you going to be a good boy? And like gives him a handy or whatever. I don't know what he was doing. What's the point of that?
Establishing dominance.
I think.
What makes him think in doing that Farley is
okay?
I think
you're going to sit there and tell me you've never got on top of another guy, spit in your hand, and then start stroking him to establish dominance.
He's just trying to get Farley to lay the fuck off of him, because every time Farley says something about like, "Oh, that's you, Oliver," like basically talking shit. I think in Oliver's mind, it's like, okay, like if he keeps saying this shit, the family's going to actually start to listen to him, and eventually I'm going to be asked to leave. So now anytime he says anything, that's why he says stuff like, "Oh, this is your song too, Farley," or like, "Well, we could say that about you, Farley." Like anytime Farley has some remark about how he's sponging off the family, he throws it back on Farley, and then I think that scene was to try to get Farley to back off of him, like, "Hey, we can both live here, dude, if you would just chill the fuck out. But if you're going to get me thrown out of the house, I'm going to bring you with me."
Well, of course.
But why does giving him a handy
because it put him.
I don't know that. I don't know the
to
logic behind that, but
the logic?
It was just to get him to chill the fuck out. I get like, hey,
It put
I'll
him
do
to
this for
sleep,
you
and he
if
sent an
you-
email from Farley.
I don't know. Say that again.
That's how he sent the email to the.
it's just Sotheby's.
Yeah, to Sotheby's and said, "Hey, I came across these things." So he.
I must have missed that.
Okay.
So he's like,
because
I think it was a handy to
scene.
calm down and then take a
Get him
nice
to
little
lay off
nap.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, tone down the rhetoric.
And then I'll frame him for stealing all these antiquities from
Which,
the
I
family.
mean,
and it worked.
Yeah.
Sure.
When I'm doing corporate espionage, you have no idea what happens. And I mean, that's the way you got to do it. You got to rub one out
Yeah.
for them. And then once they fall asleep, then you can
Yeah.
look at the corporate secrets.
Yeah. I think another flaw in the movie though is like I didn't like any of the characters. Who are you
None.
rooting for?
Nobody.
Yeah.
When people
Pamela?
started dropping, I was like, yeah, everybody.
Even Pamela sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, Pamela's the worst.
Yeah.
The,
She's someone with problems that acts snobby. That's the worst.
She just kind of rode the family coattails to kind of avoid her own problems, I think. And
Yeah.
because she makes the comment, I'll be moving out soon. My cousin has a place, and they're like, oh, good. Oh, we'll miss you. And then she's like, oh, I could stay longer. And the family's like, oh, no. Don't let us hold you back. You go ahead and do what you have to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
They knew they knew she was sponging, and they were kind of, I think they're people who get bored with people.
Yeah. Well,
They want you around. It's like a kid with a new toy. Like the new
Exactly.
toy's fun for a couple of days, and then after I'm bored with you, it's like, well, let's just throw you back in the pile. Which instead of toys, they're people, and you
Which
have
is
to deal with the fallout of that.
which is an interesting dynamic if you could think about being so wealthy that things no longer give you pleasure. You're just using people.
Yeah.
But yeah, no one in the movie is really likable.
No.
Which, I mean, I guess at a point like the father and then Felix, I feel like are probably the two, for me at least, the two more likable people. But it was, I mean, they're all.
isn't it funny
like,
about
everyone was just messed up.
generational wealth like that? How all of them aren't particularly that bright,
Yeah.
including the mom. The dad and the mom. They're just kind of.
They're just kind of there.
There.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was funny. Like they're walking through the house when he first brought Oliver to the house, and Felix is like pointing out all these antiquities, like Henry VIII and all this stuff, and he's just like, "Oh, I banged a girl on that thing. It's from Henry VIII," and it's like all this stuff that's like probably worth millions and millions of dollars. You know, not another one exists in the world. And they're just like, they couldn't give a shit less. Like no examination of it, or
Accidentally
they're
fingered my
not
cousin
grateful
right
for any
there.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
The most unrealistic thing, I think, in this movie, and I mean, there's a lot of unrealistic things. Like one, the simple fact that a simple change of a will would pass this entire generational wealth and property over to this rando, which it's not that easy. State law.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how it works in England. I'm pretty sure it's fairly complicated considering shit moves there at a snail's pace, even compared to here. But
Unless there was no other family.
Yeah,
but
I
there
would
was
guess-
an aunt. There
Yeah.
was. I mean,
It's true.
so
be
so
tough.
many people would have come out of the woodwork.
Oh yeah.
Um,
oh yeah.
But two things that were very like Superbad. Them watching Superbad in 2006, amazing. That's how rich they are. A movie that came out in 2008, they can watch in 2006 on DVD. It's really cool. But the most unrealistic thing for me is their TV. My TV.
Oh, I hear. Yeah.
There's the smallest fucking TV I've ever. Like
Yeah.
they wouldn't have a projector.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They would.
Like I feel like that would have been like at least made for some more cool shots or whatever. But yeah, that's
they probably just weren't watching it in their theater room. They were just watching it in the
could be.
the galley. I don't know rich rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the library.
the library,
The
the Louvre.
They're just sitting on the toilet watching TV.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's the thing about these characters, though. There's nothing to them. It's just like, why would you even want to? Other than the fact that they have a lot of money, why would you be drawn to these sorts of people? I don't understand it. There's nothing interesting about them.
It's probably just such a far cry from where Oliver's from. Like, he's middle class.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't really have any problems. I mean, you find that out later that his dad isn't dead. His mom's not a drug addict. Like, they live in a nice house. So it's kind of like he's probably just as bored as these rich people are. But that's
what it is.
He can go somewhere else and see something, whereas the rich people are kind of, they've seen it all, they've done it all, they've got it all. So what do? Well, they entertain the poors for entertainment.
Yeah, and
I don't know. Maybe Oliver feels like he deserves that wealth because he's smarter.
And he's willing to work for it.
He's willing to work for it.
Because he has that stupid line. It's like, and I worked for it. And I'm like, yeah, you put a thumbtack in a bicycle tire and just was a horrible person.
And I poisoned you.
Yeah. I don't know.
He planned it all out. He was the mastermind.
Like, this is the kind of movie that, like, when people watch American Psycho and they really like Patrick Bateman's character, they completely miss the point of the movie. This, I feel like there's probably a shit ton of teenagers and college-age kids that watch this movie and be like, oh, my God, that movie's so good.
Yeah. Like, they have the poster on their dorm room.
Yeah. It's like, it's right next to Scarface. And like that one poster they
next
had
to the Crow
was when I was in college. Everyone, the Crow, Scarface, and the Kiss. It was like those two chicks in bed kissing or whatever.
Yep.
Like every guy in the world had that poster or whatever. This is the fourth one, Saltburn.
And Saltburn.
Yeah.
And then the very ending where he's dancing around with his dong just flapping around in the wind,
Dancing naked. Yeah, that was supposed to be like a.
He's like relishing
a
his
celebration of accomplishment. It's like,
but it's like, all right, you're just doing it. You know, it'd be great is if you were just naked the whole time, just frolicking. We'll film you. Okay,
he's a pretty good dancer, though.
That'll stand out.
I couldn't tell. I kind of had my one hand up, like blocking the lower half.
I don't know. It's like basketball.
No, yeah, just another scene that didn't really need to be in there. You know, I mean,
Exactly. That's what. Yeah.
The original ending was him getting breakfast, like just in a robe, and Duncan drops off the breakfast, and it's runny eggs.
Oh yeah.
I think that would have been more.
I think that would have been better.
Yeah,
because then you would have been like, oh,
Nicer
every
callback.
single aspect of him was a lie,
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it's better writing, but I don't know.
Another reason why it sucks is Oliver's a psychopath, but he's doing it to people that also suck. So like I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel.
Oh, I do.
Oh, I'm rooting for Oliver.
I mean the family. Really
I don't
didn't,
feel bad for the rich family.
I don't at all.
I do.
I mean the kids didn't do anything. Didn't really do anything. I don't know. None of these people really did. I mean, they're assholes, sure, but like they tried to help Oliver, and he killed the.
They tried to help
son,
everybody.
Killed
Actually,
the wife. I mean, killed the daughter. The husband eventually dies, and then he schmoozes the widow to take their fortune.
Yeah, I mean, the rich family actually tried to help everybody.
Yeah.
I'm not saying. No.
No, you're not seeing it? Let me break it down for you. So, all right, you have Felix, who's being nice to Oliver.
Yeah.
Because Oliver was nice to him. He's like, oh, I'm going to return the favor. Oh, he doesn't have a lot of money. I'm going to pay for the shots. I'm going to, I'll take care of him. And other people allude to, oh, you're like Eddie from last summer or like the previous guy. So
they say that several times.
But that's, I feel like, is only thrown in there to give you the feeling that, he does this to people instead of what more than likely happens, because Pamela does this. Justin from season 1 of American Idol did this. The cousin, what's his name? Farley.
He's the guy from Gran Turismo.
Yeah, Farley.
Yeah, I didn't.
It's better than this movie. Pretty good.
But so the cousin, Pamela, all of them hang out, but then they just keep hanging out and mooching and not bettering themselves. It's like, oh, well, I'm just gonna hang out. I don't have to work. I'm just gonna I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna get pissed when it's not enough, and then keep asking for more and more and more. And then eventually the family is like, no, you're done. And then they finally kick out the cousin after they say, after they found out, you were doing lines of coke with our son right before he OD'd. Yeah, you're gone. And I won't tell the cops. That's your gift. And that's all you're going to get. Like, they bend over backwards, I feel like, for the people that are in their lives. Now, they're not the nicest people, but I think overall they are not, like, are they net good versus net bad? I mean, I don't know. We only see like 6 months of them. But
neutral.
I don't think that they're, I think the movie kind of failed them painting that they're horrible people. Yeah. I mean, the daughter has like a fucking eating disorder, and she has low self-esteem, and it's like, like that's you're like, oh yeah, but she has money, so she's bad. And I don't know. I guess what I'm saying, I don't think that they deserve that. But I mean, I don't know. I don't think they're obviously the heroes of the story or anything.
No, I think it's kind of bad though when Felix. The only reason he invites Oliver is because he's going to be bored. He's like, I do need a new toy. I need someone to hang out with because I'll be bored if I don't bring anybody with me.
Yeah,
to me that's kind of mean.
Yeah.
No, I mean, they're not great people.
Yeah. I mean, they're no.
It's
they're
kind of
not
a mean
good
thing
people
to do,
at all,
but
it's like, do they deserve to be?
He's not bringing him because I really want to hang out with Oliver. He's bringing him because
nobody
he
really
wants
to hang out with Oliver.
No, hell no. He's weird looking. I mean,
he constantly looks like a miner from like Pennsylvania in like 1820s.
He does.
Like he's just one.
He's
of those
a little
faces.
too old looking too to be like
he
a
is
college student.
He looks like he's 50,
22.
He looks like Joel Edgerton. Older little brother.
Older little brother. Yeah. He's playing the Joker.
Who?
Him. Barry Keoghan.
Really?
Keoghan?
Yeah.
All right.
He actually was in The Batman. He plays...
He's
the guy playing in the cameo.
credits?
Yeah, in the credits. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Forgot about that movie. I keep forgetting about that.
I haven't seen it since. Yep. But I mean, I don't know. I just didn't like the movie.
No, I didn't either.
No.
Nobody was likable. I found myself rooting for the movie to end instead of for a specific character or a specific group.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even if it was granted a repeat watch, because you know now what his motivations are, like, if we could watch it again and see the acting choices and the subtleties that maybe we didn't catch the first time.
Kind of opens
around.
up a little bit more. I wouldn't do it. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't care.
No, it was too off-putting the first time. I don't.
Well, you don't want to see?
Nah, pass.
The
slurping?
Yeah, I have no... Because Christy asked me, she's like, because she was going to watch it while we recorded this, and she made it all the way to him making it to Saltburn.
Yep.
And she went to bed.
Nice. Good for her.
Good for her.
And she asked me, she's like, is it, what'd you think? And I was like, And she's like, is it worth watching? And I'm like, no. Like, there's nothing there. There's just nothing that it says that hasn't been said or tried to be said 1,500 times before. I mean, the acting's good. Some of the shots are like, it's like nice photography.
Yeah.
Like the lighting and stuff like that. Like
the music was good. Yeah, I like the scores and stuff.
Music's good. But it's just a nothing burger, I guess.
I did think the first...
A nothing burger is exactly right.
The scene where he's in there with the counselor or the whatever of Oxford, and he's like, how'd you come along with the reading list? He's like, I read it all.
Oh, yeah.
He goes, what?
Yeah.
The Bible's on there. Yeah. You can't tell me you read all. He's like,
you spent your entire summer reading 50 books.
Yeah, it's like the worst teacher ever.
I know. I'm just like, what?
He's like, I haven't even read half of them. And then, like, as soon as what's his? Keep calling him Farley. Is that his name?
Yeah, Farley.
Oh, Farley. And then when Farley says, I'm related to so and so, and I'm like, of course you were getting the vibes of, like, is the professor and Farley just going to start blowing each other right here?
Maybe.
Or
it's president happen.
And of course, then Felix makes a reference like he's been kicked out of school because he blows all of his professors, and I'm like, I don't think that's how that works. I think teachers get fired instead of
Exactly. You're kicked out. Why?
You just keep blowing you're blowing the faculty. Quit slobbing their knobs. God damn it.
Farley, did you blow Professor Horn?
I blew his horn.
He did. Out. Yeah, you're right. That's not really how that works. Interesting.
Well, there's a lot of things in this movie just doesn't.
Yeah. And I like how the only quote unquote person that he could be friends with was some nutcase who yells at him for not throwing complex math problems his way in the cafeteria. Like, does that even that person exist? Probably not.
No.
I doubt it.
Just another outcast.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like exist as
like in reality?
Oh,
I don't even
someone
think
who
that
can do
would
math
ever happen
in their head.
No. Give me a fucking problem! Like screaming at him in the cafeteria. It's like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have just gotten up and like, what the that person doesn't exist.
Yeah. Now that you brought that character up, why was that character even in the movie? What did he?
It's probably to like.
It kind of showed him, I guess, being pulled from one side to the other, like kind of from the outcast to the cool kid.
I guess that he's manipulatable. I don't know. But he's not like a super nice guy.
Yeah, he'll still ditch it. But like, it's not like him and that. Like, it would have been better if those guys were like good friends. Like, they were only friends by circumstance, right? Like, nobody else wants to hang out with me. Nobody else wants to hang out with you. So we'll just hang out with each other. And so that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of like, okay, well, I don't really like you. I'm only here because I have to be. If somebody else wants to hang out with me, then that's where I'm going to go.
Yeah. And it's so hard for me to believe that even the rich people like that exist in real life, where Felix and that other girl are like, well, no one wants to hang out with Oliver. He's a scholarship kid. Like,
Yeah. Who would
does that
care
person
about that?
actually
Who
exist?
would care about
I
that?
feel like these people only exist in movies. I don't think that would actually come out of someone's mouth, honestly.
I don't know.
I just don't see it.
I'm sure people like that exist, but I don't know if they are.
Would they say it out loud?
Well, yeah, I don't think they would say it out loud.
Yeah, but they're for sure people out there.
I mean, I don't know, maybe they would. I mean, people say
know.
stupid shit, but
He's a scholarship shit. He's poor. I don't want to get the poor on me.
yeah, I think most times when I've told another person, "Oh, I don't want to hang out with somebody," it's probably because they're an asshole.
Sure.
Right.
Or
You didn't really care what their economic standing was.
yeah,
Why would
it
you?
doesn't matter. It's more of like, oh, they're kind of a douche,
Yeah.
and they don't treat people well, or they're just a dick. I don't know.
I mean, it's college. It's not high school. So if people are treating like shit, Oliver, I'm just going to go to college, go to class, and I'm going to fuck off.
Yeah,
go hang out with my
and go my
girlfriends.
own way. Yeah. Yeah,
I'll
out of the
just go to class.
entire school, he's the only scholarship kid. There's nobody else he could go
Or
go
just
kick it with.
Yeah. Or just, hey, come up to Oxford over the weekend. Let's hang out.
Yeah,
These fucking people suck. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
It's not like you're in high school or you're in boarding school where you can't leave the campus.
right.
It's half thought out.
That's the problem in the movie. They should have moved it from college to high school, like a boarding school.
Or they didn't have the choice. They didn't have
a choice.
There's no. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're kind of
He has to fit
stuck
in.
in their area. Maybe he couldn't. Maybe he just didn't have a car, so he can't move around. I don't know.
I don't know.
One thing that irked me,
Yeah.
it has to do with the writing, is that, like, some of the dialogue, like they would have these conversations, and it happened quite a few times throughout the movie. It was like when somebody wanted to say something, but they couldn't. They were held back, and there's always like, what? And then they immediately blurted out. Like, it was just shit dialogue writing. I can't. I wish I could play a clip for it, but it was just like, I don't know, Oliver. Something just makes me. What? It just makes me feel that. And I'm like, what the fuck did we just say it?
I know exactly
Like,
what you're talking about. He like stands up.
it's like, what?
Yeah.
What?
And it just immediately
What?
fires
And-
off.
And I'm like,
No real resistance to it. Like, okay, I've been dying to get this out. And now
Yeah.
you're giving me the reason. Yeah.
yeah, it's just, I don't know, just shitty.
Yeah.
It was just shitty.
Like, this is like, I don't understand the hype for it. It's got to be
I
like
don't either.
younger people seeing this and thinking, oh my god.
I think it's just so shocking that people like want to sound like they're in the know. Like, if you like, I get like I want you to know that I get it and you don't get it.
Oh, the Emperor's Clothes thing.
Yeah, there you go. Because I get it and you don't.
You're special.
I'm special.
Wow.
Much like the characters of this
right
of this movie. Yeah.
Art imitating life here.
It's just nothing to.
There's nothing there.
I know there's nothing to get.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like I get it
It's
with
an
like
empty vessel. It sucks.
Watching it when he was slurping the bathwater, I was like, "This is Gummo vibes." You've seen Gummo? Have you ever seen Gummo?
Yeah.
Anybody who's listening, don't go see that. Don't watch that movie because it's just as disturbing as fuck.
It is.
Saltburn didn't go quite that far with it, but it's just as like a lot of weird shit that doesn't need to be there. It doesn't drive the story. It doesn't build the character. It's just like, okay, you're just trying to shock me, and mission accomplished, I guess. But I'm out.
Yeah. What was the most shocking scene? Was it the bathroom one or was it the grave humping?
Well, after he slurped the bathtub water, it's like nothing's really too shocking after that.
It took the edge off.
Like I said, dude, even slurping the water was pretty gross, but it was the licking the drain for me that was like, all right,
yeah, it's a little bad.
We're off the tracks here.
It's pretty bad. I would say the bathtub thing was
Yeah.
And that's hilarious. He said he wanted a closed set because he wanted to see where the character went.
If I'm the director,
he had the idea in his mind.
100%, which makes me like the actor even less because it's like, all right, you're the sicko.
Yeah.
It's not just the writer
It's
director
not me,
who
it's
did
the
it.
character.
Right.
All right, I have to be in the character's head.
It's you.
You fucking freak.
It's you. As soon as I remember because he's like on the ground and he like kind of raises up to his knees and then starts taking off his. I'm like, no, this isn't what's going to happen, is it? And sure enough, it was.
Sure enough. Yeah. Was this my idea?
Yeah, it was.
I think it was a collective.
We're well, you brought it up, and I was like, yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good to talk about.
Yeah, because we thought it was going to be bad enough to where we could just shit on it the whole time, which we kind of been doing, but it's not like funny shitting on it.
No, it's like
this is just not a very good movie.
Yeah, from now on, Jay will be picking all of our topics going forward. We've lost our right.
True.
I picked the next one.
Yeah, you did. This was actually going to be.
That's going to be far better than this. Yeah. But I was watching some of the interviews with Emerald Fennell, the writer-director. Just weird.
Him or what?
She seems very sweet.
Okay.
Normal.
Yeah.
Like, how does something this weird come out of that?
She won an Oscar.
Dome of hers.
See, and
Maybe
that's the thing. Like that, it feels like. So when I went to college, I had a creative writing class, and it was like an intro to creative writing. Just very like a lot of people just took it as an elective or a fuck off class. But then you pinpointed like the people who were like really trying, and they would use words like shit, fuck. They'd be drinking. Maybe they would have sex in the story. Mm-hmm. And you could tell it was their first time, like, ooh, I'm in college. I can write about this adult stuff.
So they just
now.
really indulge in that.
Yeah. And, or like, oh, so-and-so had a flip Motorola Razr phone. Like being like hyper brand specific on shit. Like, oh, this person's cool because they got a fucking phone, or I don't know. It seemed like that kind of writing to where, ooh, I'm a big girl or boy, and now I can write about this. Or I'm going to put this in it. And you said like, oh, she seems sweet. She probably is, but it feels like, and she wrote it too, which it feels like her trying to write something. I haven't seen her other movie. I think she won
Promising Young Woman.
Yeah, didn't she win like an Oscar or something for that?
Yep.
For
I think that was it was
for screenplay or whatever.
To one extent or another, kind of had some disturbing stuff in it too. Maybe
that one is about a woman played by Carey Mulligan who gets sexually assaulted.
Yeah,
and she goes on a revenge tour.
Like
maybe this is like
she plots revenge against the men who did it against her. I haven't seen the movie.
Maybe this her creative outlet is like her purge. Like she gets all of her weird shit out, in her films.
Oh, okay.
And then that's why, like, when you see her in an interview, she's like nice and like whatever, because like she's got it all out.
Maybe.
I don't know.
She's got some demons in her.
I guess.
So, but I don't know. I'm kind of interested to see that, see if it's better done, because it sounds like a revenge movie.
It is.
And this Saltburn is not a revenge movie. It felt like she was trying to write something she is incapable of writing. And because it just, I mean, maybe that's, they have that whole thing, write what you know, not that you have to get raped and then go on a revenge tour to write about that. But I feel like those kind of feelings are a little bit more relatable as far as like wanting to get even, wanting to be a psychopath and like manipulate people into giving you everything that you've ever wanted is, I don't know, it not as relatable to her, I guess, because she didn't do it that well.
Yeah.
But I'd be interested to see what her Promising Young Woman, to see how that is, because she wrote and directed that one too, to where if it is in the sense of more of a, see, it's crime, drama, mystery, so maybe it's not as like extravagant or like, oh, I want to do like a Fatal Attraction meets Baz Luhrmann and
Jay-Z comes up.
Yeah, and or some shit, and I don't know. It felt like someone was trying really, really hard.
Yeah.
And
Well, the credits are like stop motion animation.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah, it was like the shaky, like.
Yeah, it was like Monty Python stop motion
70s,
animation.
Yeah.
they had a little bit of that at the beginning too. Yeah, it was like
with the Saltburn, the opening title scene. Yeah,
and it felt like that Notebook doodles or whatever. Like Spider-Man Homecoming had that too.
Yep.
Like that punk rock, like doodling on your notebook kind of aesthetic. Which, I don't know. It's just nothing. I don't know.
It's tough to like a movie where you don't like any of the characters, really.
Yeah.
I didn't like any of the characters.
I didn't either.
I thought the acting was good. I thought everyone acted in it really well.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I was trying to watch. I was looking at reviews to see. All the 5 stars was, oh, Jacob Elordi's so hot, blah 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 blah, and like that was all.
That's
5
all.
stars.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's all just like teenage girls.
Could be.
But, I don't know.
And you use the weirdness as a crutch too much.
Yeah,
Shock value for no reason.
It's not shocking. It's just like, why? Like, it's not
It's just weird.
shit. Right?
Weird to be weird.
It's the worst kind of weird. Where's
It's like Gummo. It is like Gummo. That's a good comparison there.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Gummo, Jay?
No.
Don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
It's the dumbest fucking.
Yeah.
It's just weird for being
terrible.
weird. It is.
I'll tell you one scene that I did like though was when they're in the dining room, and they've everybody's kind of like is like shell shocked, and the girl is pouring the wine, and she just is like lost her, and it just keeps pouring, and nobody like you can tell that everybody else in the room has their own fucked up thing too, because nobody says anything. Like like whatever they're going through, that doesn't even register. Something that would be draw your attention pretty quick if something like that was actually happening, and nobody else even bats an eye at it because they've lost their own shit. I thought that was a cool scene just to see how everybody reacted.
Yeah, especially like Duncan trying to close the
blinds
the
because
blinds.
the body is running by. Yeah.
And then but once he does close the blinds, everything like turns to red, and she's just pouring, like the way the color appeared on the screen. But that was probably that was a really good part. I mean, shot really well. I mean, but what'd you think of the 4:3 aspect ratio?
I'm not a fan.
Yeah,
I
didn't even notice it once it started going. I was like, all right.
I noticed it right immediately. I'm like, oh, okay, this is like.
Well, yeah, I noticed it too, but I
artsy.
didn't pay attention to it after a while.
That's true.
But it is to give you a sense of peeping in.
Like we're just looking in
in
this group.
And I'm like, yeah, if it had any kind of sense of realism. But as soon as they showed Superbad in 2006, I was like, no, that did not exist. Fuck's wrong with people?
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do?
Yep. Anything else?
No,
Nah, that's it. Don't go see this.
don't see.
Don't watch
I
it.
don't recommend it either.
I said go see it. Don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
I
There you go. We saved you
Yep.
2 hours and 15 minutes of your lives.
Don't believe the hype.
Hopefully.
All this like,
Hopefully.
it's so like irreverent and shocking. It's not. It's just weird.
gave it how many stars did you give it on Letterboxd?
I haven't written a review on Letterboxd. I'd probably give it like. I could see some people liking it. I'll never watch it again. It's probably 2.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Probably 2.
2. 2 out of 5.
I gave it 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same number of stars as Dune Part 1 and 2.
I must say, Dune Parts 1 and 2, I enjoyed more than Saltburn.
Much more. Yeah.
I think I enjoyed it more, but yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
No characters.
Yep.
But
It's funny because when I was thinking about this, I was like, wow, I didn't really like any of these characters, much like Jay in Dune Part 2.
And 1. Because it's one movie. God.
Yeah.
That was pissing me off this week or last week. Was everyone's like, oh, Dune 2 is one of the best sequels. I was like, it's half a fucking movie. It's half a movie. Like, no one. It's not.
People were comparing it to Lord of the Rings.
All right, they need to
Oh, yeah.
the
It was
fuck down.
Prisoner of the moment type shit like that. It's like, calm the fuck down.
Recency bias.
Come on.
Full steam.
It's also because nothing good has really came out in the theaters
In a long
time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not taking crazy pills, right? Like,
No,
we all recognize it's half a movie.
it is half of a movie.
Part 1 is not a full movie.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I
that's
agree
why
with
it's
you.
segmented. Yeah.
Because I was looking at more reviews, like, Part 2 picks up immediately where Part 1 left off. Like, yeah, because it's one
movie.
fucking story.
Yeah.
Like, it's not.
Otherwise, you'd be in the theater for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's. People on Reddit just being dickheads and saying, oh, it's.
The Two Towers picked up right where Fellowship left off.
But at least, yeah. And it's a separate. It ends like the Lord of the Rings is one full thing, but total over 3 books. But it's like, I don't know. It's like
But
Back
they're
to the
separate.
Future.
They're separate adventures.
Yeah.
But there's one overarching goal. Mm-hmm. But each adventure is different with different quests and lessons learned, growth, so on and so forth.
Back to the Future Part 2 and 3. One story.
Yeah.
Granted, they tend to separate it more. There's different conflicts and rising actions for each and climaxes, which Dune 1 and 2 just had one climax. But I don't know.
Yes.
Empire. Half a movie.
It's the best half of the movie.
But it feels more complete than what
It does.
Part 1 did.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I told Matt a couple nights ago, the more I thought about it, because I initially ranked it like 3 stars.
Yeah.
And then I was like writing a review on
I gotta knock it
Letterboxd.
down. Yeah.
And I was like,
Because it's not better than Doom.
well, because I originally had like 3.5 stars.
3.5?
I think so. Or no, it was 3 stars.
Okay.
And then I was writing it. I was like, maybe I'm an asshole. Like, am I the only person that feels this way? And I started reading other reviews. And yeah, like I told Matt, I was like, people had like 1 star on it. They were calling it racist or something. And I'm like, all right, that's fucking stupid. So I disregarded those.
Yeah,
So I read
yeah.
the 2-star ones and 2.5-star ones. And people were like, yeah, there's nothing there. There's just things happen. Don't know what any of the characters want.
Yeah.
Don't know anything about any of the characters. I was like, okay, all right, yeah. And then I was like reading other people's points. I was like, that's a good fucking point. That's a good. And then I was like, I was typing my review, and then I was just getting more pissed off as I was like, you know what, 2.5 stars. Put my phone down. And then I was like laying there thinking about it. I was like,
like you
God
got
damn it.
ripped
And I
off.
got,
Yeah.
and I picked it up again. And
Yeah.
I marked it bent down
Down
to
to 2.
just 2.
You're like, this is how I feel.
It'll be a
Yeah.
half star by the end of the night.
And I don't care who knows it.
And I went back and marked part 1 from 3 to, because I think part 1 I had 3 too.
So part 2 drove down part 1 for you.
Yeah,
No
it was
way.
all like it, because since it's one story, if part 2 delivered or at least had some kind of semblance of character development, then
Yeah.
then I think it would have boosted part 1 for me, because then I could look at it and be like, yep, I will suffer through part 1 to enjoy part 2 when I watch them together. But I don't know. Anyways,
Saltburn was terrible.
yeah.
If it came out this year, it would make my worst.
Yeah.
Be on the list of
for
the top
sure.
5 worst, but it came out in 2023.
Just missed it.
Just missed it.
Dang it.
Should have watched it last year. Would have made my list.
Yeah. I don't even know if I would. What was the worst last year? I forget. I think it was just disappointed, like things that I was disappointed in. This I wasn't disappointed in. I was just indifferent.
Because your expectations were already so low.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Like I was going into this and I was like, this is going to be dog shit.
Yeah.
And I was not let down
there, if I remember right.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Part 2 is coming out in April.
Great. Can't wait. Can't wait to watch that.
Can't wait to miss that one.
Join us next time as we talk about new movie coming out
Yeah.
Yeah.
on Prime. Is it being released in theaters only, or is it on Prime the same?
Prime the same day, I think.
I hope so.
Yep.
And it's got big shoes to fill.
Better be.
It's coming on Prime on
Is
Friday.
it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It is.
Yeah, as we talk about the new Roadhouse movie starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Yes. Pain don't hurt.
And are we also going to talk about the original Roadhouse?
Yeah, we can.
Oh, yeah.
I'm watching.
We
it.
got to.
It's one of my favorite guilty pleasures of all time. It's amazing.
Guilty pleasure? What's guilty about it? It's a
Well,
phenomenal movie from start to finish.
For most people, it's a guilty pleasure.
okay.
For me, it's up there. I love that movie.
I think I've
Right,
seen
love
it.
it.
I think I've only seen it once, and it was with you.
Oh,
It's a
man.
great movie.
Yeah. It's one of those movies that I like so much, I have to like make sure I don't watch it too much because I don't want it to.
You don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
I don't want it to
Fuck
get
me.
washed
It's an hour
out.
and 54 minutes.
Oh,
The original.
what's the original? Oh man, it goes by in a
was ho-
blink.
I was hoping it was
You
gonna be
wish
like
it was
90
longer.
minutes.
You'll wish it was longer.
It's the best. It's got the perfect amount of cheese.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't take itself too seriously.
Not at all.
I think it was taking itself seriously.
But they didn't know it at the time.
No, yeah, this is like
they're just oblivious.
Fucking
like people
oblivious.
worked hard on
Really
this.
hard.
Yeah.
And they didn't mean it to come off this way, which makes it so
Even
great.
better, yeah. It's got like a Trimmers vibe to it
Yeah.
almost. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Well, Trimmers, though, you feel like some of it's like a little tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah.
The characters are so ridiculous.
Yeah. The blind
Dalton.
white blues player. The fuck?
You must be Dalton. I love the guy that hires him. You must be. He's so enamored by
I
him.
thought you'd be taller.
Oh, that's Dalton, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
All right.
That'll be
We'll
next
save that
week.
for next
Watch
week.
Roadhouse and Roadhouse, both of them,
Yeah,
Yeah.
to prepare for our conversation.
absolutely.
All right.
All right.
All right. Thanks time, Jay.
Till next time, Matt.
Till next time, Jay.
Till next time, Coop.
Till next time, Matt.
Till next time, Coop.